So we've been talking about this idea of creating. And we've really been focused on the idea of creating wealth. And one of the things that really surfaces over and over again is that, do you have the willpower? Do you have the desire? Do you have the willpower to make that desire come true? And I remember so clearly that I had a girlfriend back in college, and she had the willpower to change me. And guess what? It didn't work. That's the idea where we've gone astray. We think that we have the power to change someone else. And that's not what willpower is. When you think about it, will, the word will means to will it. And in the Bible it says what? It says, thy will be done. So what is it that you will to have into your life? You see, we are always thinking, we are always forming a mental image. That mental image can be focused on the past, it can be focused on the future, it can be on the negative in the past, the good in the past, it can be focused on the negative we might want in the future or the good we want in the future. But we are always forming a mental image, no matter what. Every day of your life, you are creating your life through your thoughts. Every day, you are creating. The idea of will is to use that creative power to your desired purpose. So I want to say about this idea that we form a mental image, we then hold that mental image. We hold it in our eyes, mind, with belief and conviction. Belief is done by putting thought upon thought upon thought about an idea. And you're building a mental picture with every word you put around that belief. You are building a painting. You are the Picasso, the Rembrandt of your life. You are creating a life picture, and you create that with every thought. Okay, you're putting that thought on there. And as you put that thought on there, there's a belief. And the more you put that thought on there, can you feel how when you're talking about something great, there's an emotion that starts to build in you? You get excited. You get excited about going for that interview for that perfect acting job, and you build that idea, and you hold the possibility, not the possibility, you hold the probability that it's going to happen. You are probable, you are definite. In your mind, this is a done thing. And there's an emotion that builds with that. And you see, this is where will comes in. Will comes in because will keeps you on that track. Will is like a set of railroad tracks that are taking you right to where you want to go, and you are going to ride those tracks despite anything that's happening around you, anything that anyone else says. I heard this the other day, and it just lit me up. It was, anytime we spend time thinking about anything that we do not want, we are wasting the most valuable gift we have in our lives. And do you know what the most valuable gift we have in our lives is? Time. It doesn't matter if we give away our money. It doesn't matter if we lose the car. It doesn't matter if we lose a spouse. It doesn't matter if a child goes off to a foreign land. It doesn't matter anything, because we can always get that back in some form or fashion, but we can never get back time. So when we're focused on this idea of will, and we ingrain that will with our clear vision of what we want, we will never waste another moment of our day. Can you hear that? So anytime someone comes to you and takes you in this direction, which is away from where you want to be, and you start to participate, realize it's a choice to waste time. Realize that if you're going to go back and talk about something that causes you pain, realize you're wasting time. If you're going to talk about that I have a need and that you're not perfect and complete right now, realize you're wasting time. Put a value on your time. how valuable is it for you? How many times have we desired to, let's say, ride the greatest roller coaster ride in the world? And we've been looking for it for a week. And I can remember as a child, there I was waiting for it. We were at Cedar Point in Ohio. And they had this big old roller coaster that was fantastic. And I was built up to ride it, and we got there. And my mother and father looked at the line. And they said the line was like an hour. So we didn't ride the roller coaster. What I didn't say to my mom and dad was this: I want to ride the roller coaster. I will wait. You go do anything. I was old enough. But you see, I didn't honor this idea of time. My commitment to something. That is the greatest thing that I understand now, that my time is so valuable, I will not waste it talking about things that don't serve me. One of the things is, it's key to take only positive thoughts that are in alignment with your dream. And the hardest thing about doing this is that you will have your very best friends, people that have all the great intention in the world, and they're going to want you to talk about things that are out of alignment with your dreams. And they're going to look at you and they're going to say, you've got to be real. You've got to look at the economy. You've got to look at what's happening over here. You've got to look at this. And we get weak. And we start listening to the linear form of thought. And when we listen to it, guess what our experience is? Not what we want, right? So here's what I want to ask you. Here's the question I don't want you to get bold and say this, but I want you to think this. So when someone comes to you and says, hey, I got an idea that you shouldn't think that way, that this is really what's going on, look at that person and examine, are they experiencing the life that you want to experience? Are they demonstrating in the area that you want to have a demonstration, that you want an experience? I will bet you money right now, if they're talking against where you want to be, they're not having that experience. So, when that happens, you might just want to do this. And don't say anything else, but in your mind you're going, I'll take that under consideration, but thank you, but no thank you. I'm not going to listen to you. And why not? Because it's not in alignment with my dream. You see, this is where I think narcissism has a really strong place in the world. I think that we must focus on what we want because no one else is going to. And if you allow the average thought of society out there, you're going to have an average experience. But you, no matter how young you are or how old you are not incapable of changing your life experience right in this moment. Right in this moment, you have the possibility to create anything and everything that you desire. Because remember, there is an infinite power out there that said, Jesus summed it up so beautifully. He said, it is done unto you as you believe. He didn't say you had to be this age, you had to be blonde, you had to have curly hair, you had to be 6'2". He didn't say anything like that. He said, it is done unto you as you believe. So where will comes in is, will comes in you holding yourself on those railroad tracks that are taking you right toward your dream. So what does that mean? It means we never talk about poverty. We never talk about lack. So what do we talk about if we're not talking about poverty or we're not talking about lack? We're talking about what is our dream? Where are we going? And we constantly are building it up. But here's something I'm going to share with you. Sometimes you got to keep the dream in your pocket. Because there are some people that live their life in an uninformed state that want to tear your dreams and other dreams to shreds. And I'm going to tell you, I am not going to put my greatest dreams out to people who are going to tear them to shreds. Does that make sense? Dreams are personal. This is why there was a saying in the Bible, go into the closet and pray. The idea wasn't go into the closet because you got something to hide. It was go into the closet so that you can keep your dream pure about what do you want. What do you want? Not what does your mother want, your sister want, your brother want, your father want, your community want. What do you want? You see, and when you fill yourself up like that, you come out into the world and you are the light. You radiate love. And people they're attracted to you. You are a magnet. They want to be with you. Because the one thing I understand more than ever is people like someone who's authentic. They like someone that's comfortable in their skin. They're like someone who is free thinking. They like someone who's free thinking because they're not boring. Do you understand what that means? If someone's talking about things you've always heard, it's the same old stuff over and over again, you know what the end of the story is going to be. Are you not bored to tears? I am. I have some people that I've known for years now, and I counsel them. And they come to me for counseling, and they'll start off and they'll say, Lee, yada, yada, yada. And I'll go, and they immediately know, oh, I'm telling you a story, aren't I? And they stop. Because I don't want to hear the story. I want to hear, what do you want? I want you to tell me what you want so we can together create a picture of what it is so that we can affirm this and that person counseling can have that experience. Does that make sense? So when we talk about what is counseling from a spiritual level is simply to get an individual to see what the possibility they desire is and how do we reframe it to build a picture that they can embody and build upon so that they have that experience in life. Does that make sense? So when people say, why should you go see a practitioner? Because maybe in that moment, you don't have enough willpower to see it for yourself. And when you don't have enough willpower, someone else can. That's the beauty of it. I have practitioners in my life. I meet with 3 on the phone every week. And when I'm on the phone with them, we are talking about each other's dreams and we are building it. I was doing that the other day. And I set my dream that I wanted to do another 10-day silent meditation retreat. I did one a year ago. And I wanted to do another one, and the idea came as I didn't want to do it in the same place. And the idea hit me really clearly. I want to do it in India. That was 2 days ago. And I visualized it. I saw it in my mind's eye, and I did my prayer work, and I let it go. Last night, I had an email from this friend I was talking to, and it was about a 10-day silent meditation retreat at the Kriya Yoga Ashram in India on the foothills of the Himalayas. I practice Kriya Yoga. I know the spiritual leader of Kriya Yoga. I went to bed last night, I prayed, woke up this morning and said, in June of this year I will be in India. Isn't that easy? But it's a clarity. It's a clarity. And I'm not saying you do what I do. But what I'm saying is this is a scientific method that we teach. When we teach the power of creation, it's very simply this. We use our imagination to create what we want. Once we've used that imagination, we make a decision that this is what we want. Once we've made that decision, we line up all of our thoughts, our words, our actions, and we spend time each and every day in meditation and in prayer, in what we read and how we speak and what we act. And lo and behold, the more we do that, the demonstration is natural. You see, it's not a miracle. It's not a surprise. That's what I want to get out of this idea of what we teach. It's not a surprise to you. It's a natural thing. but there is a process involved. People will say, well, Lee, you demonstrated this India thing in 2 days. In the back of my mind, I've been doing this for years. Being in the Himalayas has been present in my mind for 20 years. Living in an ashram has been in my mind for 10 years. And I've held that vision. Here's the key, I didn't get really clear until the other day. I didn't have that picture really cemented in my mind until the other day. That's when the appearance of a demonstration, it was really the natural outpicturing of what I desired. And look at me. I'm just a guy. I am not an exception. I am no different than each and every one of you, except I'm a guy and some of you are women. I'm making that very clear here. But other than that, I have no special power. I have no unique connection with the divine. I am just like you. And all I'm doing when I get up on Sunday is I'm sharing with you what I have found to work in my life and that I've seen it work in others. And so I'm giving you a roadmap. And you can take that roadmap and you can take a direct path, you can take a winding path, or you can take a zigzag path. Here's the beauty of it. There's no right path. It's only the path that you choose. This is the beauty of as I did a memorial yesterday of this beautiful woman. She was 90 years old. And she lived this path where she literally took life in roller coasters. And it was a conscious choice because she said, I love the roller coaster ride. So her life was like this. And when she passed away at 91 years of age, she had had 3 husbands, all of whom she buried. They died with a smile on their face. Did you hear that? That was a joke. You can laugh at that. And the thing about it is, she did everything she wanted in her life. I knew her. I had talked to her. She traveled the world. She raised 3 beautiful children. She was a part of this group and that group. And there was such a support in the room for the life that she had lived. And everyone said one thing. She was a rebel. She lived life on her terms. That's using will. Why would we ever want to play small and live someone else's life? Think about that. Why would you ever want to live anyone else's life but yours? Because the only life you will ever feel is yours. So the question I'm going to ask you is, what have you been denying yourself? What have you not said to someone that you love? What have you not asked for in life? Because until you claim it, until you speak it, until you will it, by focusing all of your thoughts, your words, your actions in that direction, it cannot happen. But what I will do, and the practitioners will do, we'll get on the locomotive of this train, and if you want to hop onto one of the cars, we'll take you to wherever your stop is. You see, that's what we can do as a community together. We come together as a community so that we can support each other. And keep in mind, as many people as there are right here today, each and every one has a separate vision, a separate dream, and it is perfect. And so when I look at you and I see who you are and I say to you that you are perfect, you are. So I want you to turn to someone next to you and I want you to look in their eyes right now and tell them, I am perfect. Go on, look at someone, say it. Now turn to someone else and say it again. Okay, now turn to someone and say, you are perfect. Go on. Now turn to someone else and say, you are perfect. You know what's fascinating about that is I look out and there's Hank over there and he's saying it, but he's kissing all the women. I just don't, I guess that's the perfect Hank. And so what I want to do is I really want to anchor you in this idea of thy will be done. Because that came to me in meditation 2 days ago. I hadn't thought of that for this talk. And when that came to me, my old spiritual background came up. And it took on such a new form of wealth. Because when I say, thy will be done, I'm talking about my will and the infinite presence of God's will united into one, becoming that perfect thy. And as I speak that out and I align with it, and so it is. There is no question. So I'm going to ask you to put in your mind something right now that you truly want. It could be health, it could be wealth, it could be a new job, it could be a loving relationship, it could be anything. Put it in your mind right now. And with me, let's say, thy will be done. Thy will be done. Now let's say it like we mean it. Thy will be done. And so it is.